Good morning, beautiful girls. Okay, today we are going to continue explaining the modifiers. Okay, we are going to talk about comparative and superlative forms of adjectives, how to form adjectives in comparative and superlative forms, and we will talk about some irregular adjectives as comparison to compare equal items or equal items in terms of quality. We are going to talk also about absolute adjectives. What are the absolute adjectives? How do we make comparative and superlative forms of these adjectives or not? Double comparison and incomplete and clear comparisons. Let's get started. Okay, comparative degree. We use the comparative degree when we compare two persons or two things or two places or two equal items with each other. For example, Ming is taller than James. This house is bigger than that one. She is nicer than him. Remember that when using the comparative adjective, you have to add than after it. Superlative degree. We use the superlative degree when we compare more than two persons or things with one another. It's the highest degree of the quality. Okay, when I want to say someone is the top of something. Peter is the smartest boy in class. It means no one is smarter than Peter. Alice is the sweetest girl in the neighborhood. It means no one is sweeter than her. The blue whale is the largest of all animals. Here I mean that no animal is larger than the blue whale. And here, when using the superlative form of the adjective, we have to add the before the form. Like the smartest, the sweetest, the biggest, the largest. Okay, adjectives of one syllable. How to form the comparative and superlative form. Adjectives of one syllable, add er and est. Er for comparative and est for superlative. Adjectives ending on e, just add r for comparative and st for superlative. We don't need double e. Some adjectives double the final consonant. If the adjective is formed by consonant plus vowel plus consonant, so the last consonant should be doubled. For example, small, smaller, smallest, warm, warmer, warmest, old, older, oldest, nice, nicer, nicest, big, bigger. You see, we doubled the G because we have the form that I told you about, consonant, vowel, consonant. Okay, and biggest. The other type of adjectives, adjectives of two syllables. Some adjectives of two syllables add er and est, er for comparative, est for superlative. For adjectives ending in y, we have to remove y and add ier for comparative and iest for superlative. Adjectives ending in full, less, ing, ed, use more and most. They apply the rule of the long adjectives or adjectives with more than 3 syllables. Some other adjectives of 2 syllables use more and most, like modern. I don't say moderner, even if I have only 2 syllables. I say more modern. I don't say famouser. I say more famous. I don't say normaler. I say more normal. Some examples: narrow, narrower, narrowest. Happy, happier, happiest. You see, I removed the y and replaced it with I. Useful. 2 syllables, but it applies the rule of adjectives ending in full. So, more useful. I don't say usefuler. And most useful for superlative. Boring, more boring, most boring, modern, more modern, and most modern. Adjectives of 3 or more syllables, we call them long adjectives. They apply the same rule. Adjectives, we add more for the comparative and most for the superlative. Beautiful, more beautiful, most beautiful. Dangerous, more dangerous, most dangerous. Exciting, more exciting, most exciting. Okay, for example, she is more beautiful than her sister. For superlative, she is the most beautiful girl in her family. Irregular adjectives. Of course, we have some adjectives that don't apply these rules, so you have to memorize them. For example, good or well. In comparative form, we have to say better, we don't say gooder. And in superlative form, we say best, we don't say goodest. Bad, we say worse for comparative and worst for superlative. Little, less for comparative and least for superlative. Much and many, we use more for comparative and most for superlative. Far, we use farther or further for the comparative and farthest for the superlative. Late, we use later in comparative and last and latest in superlative. Now, when you want to say something is similar or equal to another thing, use as plus adjective plus as. For example, she is as tall as her brother. My mom is as strict as your mom. Your mobile phone is as trendy as mine. Matrix 2 was as interesting as Matrix 1. Here, pay attention to have an incomplete comparison. You have to add the second as after the adjective. When I say she is as tall, her brother, it's not correct, it's incomplete. Okay? Absolute adjectives. We have a type of adjectives that are called absolute. Okay? They express ideas that cannot be graded. For example, a person can't be more or less that. In the same way, a sphere can't be more or less round. So, in grammar, these adjectives are called non-graded or non-gradable, or absolute adjectives. Non-gradable adjectives do not have comparative or superlative forms. I don't say deader or more dead than the other person. Okay? For example, some examples of these absolute adjectives: absolute, impossible, principal, unanimous, mean, entire, dead, okay, correct. Okay, I can say the sentence is more correct than the other one. It's whether correct or wrong. Double comparison. There is a mistake in making comparison. Double comparatives are adjectives with more than one comparative marker. For example, the comparative word more and the comparative suffix er are both applied to the adjective loud in the phrase more louder. It's wrong. We don't use that. This is a wrong double comparison. Like comparative, also superlatives, most and est may also be doubled. They may be used at the same time. So I can't say the most biggest. Okay, I can't say my house is the most biggest. I say my house is the biggest one. More smaller. I can't say more smaller. Okay, I can't say my car is more smaller than yours. Okay, I say smaller. More happier. I'm not more happier than you. Okay, I'm happier than you. The most best. Okay, we can't say the most best. It's a double superlative, so we said the best and we remove most. Now, to make your comparison clear, make sure that your sentences compare only items of a similar kind. For example, John's score was better than Tom. Here, it means that I'm comparing Tom to the score. I can't compare two things that they are not similar. Okay, the score should be compared to another score. So the correct one is John's score was better than Tom's score or than Tom's. Another example, my record collection is bigger than my brother. I'm comparing the record collection to my brother himself. It's wrong. So the correct one is my record collection is bigger than my brother's record collection or than my brother's. To add other and else in comparisons, when comparing one of a group with the rest of the group, use the word other or the word else. An example of illogical comparison, John Kennedy was younger than any American president. This is not standard comparison. Okay, I have to say John Kennedy was younger than any other American president. Another example, Michael bats better than anyone on the team. This is not standard and not logical. The correct one is to say Michael bats better than anyone else on the team. I hope that everything is clear for everyone. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.